Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another afternoon reading at the Mufasa coaching practice and enjoying our life. Welcome to enjoying our life. We're going to be enjoying our life today. I hope you had an absolutely amazing weekend. And yeah, I'm so ready to read for you guys. Today, we're going to be reading chapter 8. Um, entitled The Big Four Energy Blocks. And this is from Bruce D. Schneider's Energy Leadership. So we're going to be done with this book on Friday. Then we have something else in store for you for the next coming weeks. Okay, so last week we finished off reading about level 2, right? And there's something that was pointed out in the chapter that I thought, you know what, let me just bring it up. Bruce and Richard went into uh, really assessing whether Bruce was making decisions based on a solution mindset, or he was looking at the choices he was making um, as challenges, right? Uh, solving challenges, not even solving challenges, but like based on like everything is a challenge, and so this is how I'm going to work through it. So I actually have a poll that I created that I will put up. But for today, we're going to also look at a wonderful question that's going to come up here, because we're going to be talking about how everything we are experiencing internally actually shows itself in our external experiences. So, how our internal selves, right, impacts or influences how we experience our external selves, our environment, and so forth. So let me start reading. Then in the end, I'll put up the question, and yeah, we'll have a little bit of a discussion. Okay, so my 10 minutes is set. Okay, the big four energy blocks. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare, from a passage from Hamlet. Something you've never asked anyone to do before. It won't be like one of those crazy reality show stunts, right? He chided. Just so you know, I'm not eating anything disgusting or doing any fire walking. No, no, nothing like that, I assured him, chuckling. It's only that my gut tells me we should try something unusual. If it's okay with you, I'll wait till you make my request until after I've told you the purpose of what we'll be examining next. Sure, why not? Richard had been laughing before, but now he looked genuinely relieved that I wasn't going to present him with a bowl full of crickets or something worse. I had mentioned the big four energy blocks to Richard in an earlier conversation, and now it was time to explain them in detail. When I asked if he was ready to remodel himself and his business by recognizing and removing these energy blocks from his organization, Richard told me he was more than ready. He had already begun the process. In our work together, Richard had come to realize that many of the obstacles he was facing were based on inaccurate thinking. Richard clarified, before before I changed to an identity I thought I'd be dragging around with me for the rest of my life, now I feel liberated to choose who I'll become, and that includes being a true leader. What you believe makes what you believe makes you who you are. Today's version of you is the result of everything you've ever experienced, from your birth right up to the meal you ate last night. Every thought, feeling, and emotions you've ever had, and every action you've ever taken shapes who you are today. Yet today's version of you is a work in progress, as if it were created in clay and not set in stone. The past doesn't determine your future. Instead, by carefully examining the sculpture that's you today, you can choose to remold yourself and increasingly become more of who you truly want to be. Each moment, empowerment principle 3, each moment describes who you are and gives you the opportunity to decide if that's who you want to be. So I'll also put up today's question. I think, and there we go. Right. Okay. Now, by understanding and identifying the big four energy blocks, Richard had the opportunity to unchain himself further by learning what was holding him back. A block is anything that restricts you, whether that's external, like money or time, or internal, your beliefs and attitudes about yourself and the world around you. Usually, though, the external reflects the internal. So we could say that 95% of the time, it's internal factors that hold you back. The four blocks are the limiting beliefs that you hold, the false assumptions from the past that you bring to today, the false interpretations that you make, the fear that you're not enough, and the inner critic, or what it is sometimes called a gremlin. I offered, it will be incredibly useful for you and your staff to understand each of these. Once you know what's getting in your way, you've taken the first step towards removing these blocks and reshaping your world. This part of the training is important for everyone in the company to take part in. Please gather all your employees in the conference room so I can provide real examples and explanations of energy blocks to the entire office. And now for my unusual request. I'd like you, I'd like to use you as our example. Richard knew that if he did this, he might get embarrassed. But he was now a man on fire with courage and conviction for his company, willing to do what was necessary. Plus, he trusted me. He said as much. He said as much when he agreed to be what he jokingly called spokesmodel, my spokesmodel. Richard walked from desk to desk, double checking to be sure that each of his staff members had received and opened the email he sent to announce the meeting that would start promptly at 3 that afternoon. While he did that, I made the conference room a quiet enclave, taking the time to center myself and carefully craft my thoughts. In her own words, so now Richard wants a team meeting and he's finally insisting that everyone attend. Okay, I'm game. Better late than never, I guess. I guess we'll see if he really has the guts to follow through. Like I said, I'm behind him 100%, but I'm just waiting to see if we're actually going anywhere with his new enthusiasm of his. It's been so frustrating watching his company sink while Richard stands by acting as if nothing's going on. He's been in such denial about the problems around here that he had gotten less and less willing to take my advice. This is Tonya, in Tonya's own words. This is what she's saying. I think my attempts to fix things just remind him of how bad things have become, and now is the time when he needs my help the most. I suppose that's why my arguments with Don got so loud too. It's as if both thought that if we could stand in the hallway and make a commotion, then Richard would finally have to do something. Not that we were play acting. Don and I definitely have different ideas about how this company should be run, and he can be such a jerk. But Don's not really the problem. I worked with plenty of jerks in corporate law and we got things done okay. People ask me why I left that practice all the time. They ask me. They say I seem like I would thrive there, but there just wasn't enough heart in it. Shocking, right? Old Tonya needs to feel the love. Well, it's true. I didn't feel as if I was making any kind of difference for anyone, not for my colleagues, no from my clients, although we were certainly all lining our pockets. When I went to law school, I had these idealistic notions of how being an attorney would change the world. No, I'm serious. I really thought that, and I didn't even know it was a cliche. Then I got sucked into business law because everyone who was being smart about it went into that direction, and the course and the case studies interested me. But when I got into the real world, I grew to hate how impersonal it was. I missed how it felt when I thought I could change the world. So O'Connell Consulting comes along. Richard and I decide to work together, and I can see how applying what I know in a small business with people instead of giant companies, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't change the world, but I would definitely make it a better place for the people who work here and for our clients. And it was that way for a while. We were doing really well, and I had a hand in that. Then everything went to hell in a handbasket, and Richard seems to have forgotten what I did to help him get to the top in the first place. Whatever we're doing in this meeting, I'll be damned if I sit quietly and let anyone run us all into the ground. When the meeting time arrived, I was thrilled to be standing in front of the staff, about 25 people all together. The group seemed happy that Richard had gathered all of them and made clear how important it was to him that every single person attend. I was glad too that I had the opportunity previously to meet each one of them, learn more about who they were, and let them get to know me. This way we could get right to the business at hand. I thanked everyone for attending on such short notice and reiterated that I'd been working with Richard to help turn things around. And then I let them in on the purpose of our meeting. We're going to focus on a subject that can benefit everyone here, not only on the job, but in every area of life, I began. First, I described what energy blocks are, just as I had with Richard. Then I explained that they'd be learning about the blocks from a real life example. Richard had graciously agreed to serve as our case study. Diving right in, I posed a question to the entire assembly. What do you believe is the major block to success at O'Connell Consulting or anywhere else? And that concludes our reading for today. I have put the question that Bruce posed to the O'Connell Consulting staff members. So do make sure you answer that or leave a comment. And also to catch up on last week's readings, go onto our YouTube channel and subscribe, and then watch the content as well. Also share this with all of your staff members, right? And share it with your organizations, because we're all part of various organizations in our lives, and we're all leaders. We decided at the beginning of this that we are going to lead consciously, and that is definitely what we're going to do. So let's raise our vibrations, right? Raise our level, our energy levels, and yeah, transcend. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's reading. And tomorrow we're going to be reading chapter 9, Removing Obstacles to Success, level 3. So do tune in, right, for tomorrow so that you could see how everything unfolds in this chapter, because I do give you a little bit of a taste, satisfying taste and review of the chapter that we read today, so that we stay on track with the storyline, the narrative. So enjoy your day, and I will see you tomorrow.